One of the questions I'm often asked about my services and the products that I have is, what's the difference between a keynote and a workshop apart from the length of time? And it's been a really interesting journey for me, particularly being from a leadership development background. So during my career in HR, I did a lot of leadership development, I did a lot of training and development, and I learned a lot about learning and development. And then when I started to write books, and some of you will have heard me tell this story, I love writing. I'm an author before I was anything else. And I'm an introvert as well, so it kind of works quite well for me to sit by myself and create and write. I love it. And then I started to get asked to speak about the content of those books. So I would take stages, often in front of hundreds, maybe thousands of people. And that was different. And initially it filled me with fear, as I think public speaking does with most of us, right? But the more I did it, the easier it got. And I learned so much about the art of public speaking. And what was really interesting for me is it brought the text in the book to life. And it was also a way of getting instant feedback. So it is much quicker to get the message across in an hour-long keynote to an audience of hundreds than it is to ship 100 books out and wait for people to have the time to read them. And then, of course, for them to feed that back. But being out there connecting with individuals in conference rooms and at events and hearing your feedback firsthand really helped not just me know that this was working and the content in the books were good, but it gave me ideas for future books as well. So that connection became such a fundamental part of what I do. But the keynote is only an hour, right? It's supposed to be quick, impactful, inspirational, and it is. But the keynote gets us motivated. The workshop is the next step. So this is how this has evolved, and from a learning and development point, how it works. So people come along to the keynote, they get inspired, they get motivated, they want to take action. But then, of course, you've got to learn all the strategies to put into action. And that's where the workshops come into play. So I love getting together a small group of people when we do these workshops in-house for organizations to build on some of those inspirational keynotes. Because what workshops allow us to do is not just listen to someone like me, whoever's at the front of the room, but share experiences with each other, to have a real deep Q&A, to actually apply this specifically to our individual circumstances, to learn some of the practical tools and strategies and techniques, and to really use the motivation and inspiration we get from something like a keynote to delve a bit deeper. And it's why I'll offer both when I'm at a conference or event. So quite often I'll be on the main stage, and then whilst I'm there working with the conference or event organizers, I'll do a workshop at the same time, because it really helps to build on that. And I reckon if you've been motivated, and we've all been there before, right? We've all seen someone on stage that said something and it's like they're talking directly to us. It's like they're in our heads. And it motivates us, it inspires us, and we go away from that going, yes, I'm going to make a difference. And unless we then get that practical know-how and that deep understanding of how am I going to use this to make a difference. Now I've got the fire to be called to action. What am I going to do to make that action happen? And that's really where workshops and the practical implementation of what you're hearing in a keynote is where the rubber hits the road, and it's why I'm a massive fan. So it kind of is it's been a journey for me, and coming from author, speaker, trainer, and facilitating retreats, I can see how all this fits together from a learning and development perspective, and I love sharing it with you.